Aquaman gets a new release date. The Flash movie seems unlikely to hit its release date, and Captain Boomerang runs about with his wang out. Today on DC Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's DC Movie News.
Yeah! What's up, guys?
I was right in the mic, wasn't it?
I was really trying hard to rhyme boomerang with wang in some way.
It came back around.
Hard.
I feel like in honor of him, you guys have to hang out with your wang out for the show, so...
Not on the Popcorn Talk Network.
No one wants to see that from me.
Although Mikey Christmas and I do look like we might be in some kind of synchronistic boy band.
Where am I going from there? I'm trying to move from the mic. There we go. And it's my new shirt. I love it.
Cool. You guys didn't plan that at all, right?
We didn't plan this. In fact, I only left the jacket on because earlier this week, I don't know if you know this, but Mike the Killer, now we're calling him Kalinowski, was victorious in a Schmoes Know battle.
I'm kind of sad we're losing Mikey Christmas, though. Because do we have to start calling him Mike the Killer? Or Killer?
I think so.
No, it's Killer Kalinowski, right?
Killer Kalinowski.
It's not Mike the Killer Kalinowski. It's just Killer Kalinowski.
Yeah, but I think they
I
dropped
like
the mic.
Mike the Killer.
Yeah, Mike the Killer.
So some people were saying that no, we have to fight in some kind of showdown, and then somebody said us versus each other, and they said I was Superman and you were Batman.
I agree on that one. I was like, all right.
To which I was like, whatever. But then you tweeted that picture of your outfit, dude.
Yeah.
Worth every penny.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
What do you mean it's not done yet? What do you mean?
No, it's not done yet. I got to finish it up. I got to get the emblem finished. I've been
so wait a
messing
second.
around
Is it
with
being
new...
custom made, or did you order it from someone? Like, what do you mean? What's the
The
process?
outfit for the Schmodown, or what is it?
No, he's got this amazing photorealistic bat suit.
I told you, I have suits.
Yeah, you have suits.
Yeah.
One?
Better than Affleck's. I mean,
it's coming along. I have a cowl that I'm working on. And...
So the cowl isn't even ready yet.
No.
So who is this that you go to? Who's constructing this?
Oh, he does it.
Some of the parts I
sewing.
do, but some of the stuff is made for me. Some of the stuff I do
like
build.
7 years of sewing classes.
I did too. I took some costume construction in college.
Jesus Christmas.
Mikey Christmas must have a bunch of elves working for him.
Ho, 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 ho.
I'll be one of your elves. I'm pretty short.
You dress like an elf too today with this kind of red. If I give you a hat and some ears, you'd be an elf.
I was trying to impress you. I feel like this is Christmassy.
I love it.
Here we are today. It is Mikey Christmases. We're full on into his season. Everybody's touching each other. Jonny Loquasto not here, unfortunately.
Yeah, Johnny.
But as we said, we have Mikey Christmas is here. And then also, of course, the crown jewel of the DC Movie News Show, Miss Roxy Striar. How are you today?
I'm doing well, because I'm excited. We have so much news to talk about. We just have so much.
There's actually not a lot of new breaking news. This has been a week of a lot of trailers, but since DC's kind of blown its wad on trailers, it's been a lot of Marvel trailers, and I think there was like Baywatch today, and there was teasers, and like
50 Shades of Darker.
50 Shades Darker, which didn't look good.
50 Shades looked really good.
It did?
I like that. Oh.
Did you really like the first one?
It's okay.
What's happening? What's happening?
Wow.
I liked the chemistry between the two actors. The script needed work.
Man, this guy.
Mike likes a little sensuality.
Right? Mikey likes a little sensuality.
That's a little more than a little.
Hey. Who knows?
Oh boy! So how are you guys? So you were in a Schmodown. What was the nature of this battle? Was it comic book released? Was it DC movie released?
I am a old college acquaintance of Kristian Harloff. We were fraternity brothers together.
Were frat bros.
We were frat bros together.
Okay.
And we had not stayed in contact till I moved out to Los Angeles, and then it was just a matter of he took his hold of Schmoes Know and then moved on with Collider, and he's really gone huge, and we finally connected after so many years, and he brought me on to actually it's kind of because Far Away, the podcast, he brought me on that because he knew I was a big Star Wars guy, because in the fraternity when Phantom Menace came out, he remembered I dressed up in my Obi-Wan costume and went to the premiere all dressed up for that.
Do you still have it?
The Obi-Wan one, no. But so he brought me on there with Tiffany Smith and John Roken, those guys.
Right.
And then passed on to you guys, because you guys were looking for a guest or something, I think. And
you
contacted me.
He was responsible for the inception of this show, too, at once upon a time. But,
so I brought in from that, but then he brought me on there. He knows my knowledge is diverse, not just comic book related. I know a lot of people were upset that I came out to Captain America, the theme song.
Okay.
But just that was my little nod to, hey, I'm not just a DC guy.
So
I know my stuff.
I'm more than a DC.
So it was
I know my
straight
stuff.
up movie trivia that you were
Oh, yeah,
battling.
all movie trivia.
And did
not
you,
just DC stuff. I
did
didn't get
you
one
win
DC
by a
question.
landslide? No DC questions.
yeah,
Did you get
a lot
comic
of
book
tweets
movie
were
questions?
pissed about that.
I TKO'd her.
What does that mean?
Technical knockout.
Oh, I know it. I mean, I know what it means, but so
we
like,
did not make it to the final round with questions.
okay, good. Yeah.
But she was a great competitor. I was going to be very concerned if it would have gone down to geek trivia for both of us because she knows her stuff. She knows
I
her
gotta
stuff.
tell you,
So
I'm a big fan of that show, and I would love to go on that show. I have no idea how I do because I'm like your classic. Oh, playing at home, you're invincible, but when you're actually doing it, I know it's
watched
very
it all the
different.
time to
Wait,
studying these competitors.
When
but
you watch, do you do well?
Sometimes, I mean, sometimes I'm like I would have won, and
it's
sometimes
luck
I'm
of
like
the draw.
oh, not even close.
is luck of
There's
the
some
draw.
stuff that every once in a while I'll like know this random movie from 1930s or something.
They have the spinning of a wheel in the second round, and my spin got on action adventure. So I was
Oh.
like, I'm going to clean up.
That's
Okay.
good.
I lucked out.
Edward Mulfall, happy birthday on Monday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Oh, and Sky Patterson, you baby, you.
You, baby.
Okay, so do you guys want to talk about?
Let's get into it.
All right, we're gonna get into it. You can still tweet us questions. We asked you to tweet us
I've
some
got
questions
that going on.
So we're gonna have some general DC knowledge. I actually want to talk a little bit about the DC schedule with you, the chat roll. I'm curious to what your opinions are. But let's kick it off with Joe Manganiello was on an ESPN or a sports talking show.
Yep.
I guess he's a big Pittsburgh fan, and they tried to get a little info out of him about the Batman movie, and he basically said it's about Gotham. It's about a guy who dresses up as a bat, and I play the world's greatest assassin
with one eye
with
covered.
one eye. So. No new information there. He did say, and the guy also said I forget the name of the host, but he was like, "Oh, so you've wrapped that?" And he's like, "No, we start shooting it this year."
So his exact quote was, "Oh no, we will start at some point this year. It looks like."
Yeah, which I assume to mean 2017,
Yeah.
right? He
Yeah.
doesn't mean
He
obviously
doesn't mean in the next couple weeks.
next week.
And it's Rick Eisen, wasn't that?
Rick Eisen, right,
Rich
right.
Eisen, sorry, Rich Eisen's show.
So I mean, nothing new there. It's just that same kind of thing where I think we're really waiting on either Affleck to be happy with the script,
It's gotta be.
or the script and the deal. The script and the deal, because it's a brilliant thing. Like you weren't here last week, so it was a little one-sided me ranting, and I know a lot of people wish you were here to defend things because sometimes I get a little dark. But it seems to me that Affleck has all the cards because he said there's no contract for the movie, so he doesn't have to get into one of these situations where he signs on to direct a Batman movie and then it's not the movie that we all want.
Okay.
Because ultimately, and this is what I offered him, like. He'll walk. I mean, he's not signed up for any future films beyond Justice League.
Maybe I should have watched the whole episode because I know people were saying that you were saying that Affleck's gonna walk, but
Not that he's going to, but
the way it's worded, people coming to me, he's the kind of actor he will, I think, bow out of the project if it comes down to push or shove, and that's not DC. That's not WB replacing him. That's them going. Batman's our biggest character. What do we do now? Because our star we wanted is gone.
I'm glad you're here with the other side of it because perhaps the way I was saying it came off like I wanted that to happen or something like that. I'm just saying it's an interesting standstill you have because he's not signed beyond this film. They want him to direct this film, but how many times, and Affleck more than anyone, how many times has this guy been dragged through the dirt in his career? And you could say all his millions, it's not fun to be kicked in the face in the public.
What do you think about the fact that Justin in the chat says Affleck's waiting to see how Justice League does? Do you feel like that's
because
what's holding
remember
him
what
off?
happened? He finally came back, didn't want to do Batman, didn't want to do Batman, but he's like, and they showed him, he's like, this is gonna be different. He comes in, and then they blow up the internet with those memes of him, sad Affleck in the meeting with him and Cavell at the. Where's it? What do you think about the press? And he just was like, oh my god, I'm going through this again. So why would he go a third time?
I don't think he's waiting to see how Justice League will do. I think he knows how Justice League will do because he made Justice League.
It's true.
You know what I mean? I think he knows the film that they're looking at. I also don't think that there's any way that he could wait till December 2018 to decide, or 2017, I guess. Next year it would be to move forward on that film.
I could see the execs going, Jesus, why isn't he making up his mind? What do we got to do? Could someone please tell him we got to get this film going? But I think the ball's in Affleck's court. They love him.
That's what I'm saying. Ball's in Affleck's court.
They love him as a director. They've got Oscar buzz already with was it Live by Night coming out?
Yeah. What did someone just said? What if Affleck is just never happy? But I know, heavy as the head that
There
wears
was
the
an interview-
crown.
I didn't know this. Affleck recently was in an interview for the accountant, and they were saying Batman is one of his top 5 favorite roles he's ever done.
Yeah.
So he loves the character now, but I think he's just for everyone wants to be the best it can be.
What we've
Well,
seen,
and keeping in mind that nobody watched that and was like, Ben Affleck was the worst part of the movie.
Right, he
actually
is-
was
somehow
very well.
he got away the most shrapnel free because he
Right.
took it all on the front end. And also, I thought the Suicide Squad stuff was okay. It didn't make me like, oh my God, Batman's here. It was like, it was fine.
Yeah.
But the Justice League stuff that we saw, as little as it is, that got me excited.
Yep.
That said to me, like, he's got the attitude, he's got the smirk. That I'm excited about that. Aquaman, probably the project that I'm for some reason least nervous about because I feel like James Wan's
Wan's
going to
just
make
got
a
it.
great film, and I feel like
yep.
I love the casting. That finally has a release date, but it is not, as previously reported, July 27th, which is now the same release date as Mission Impossible 6. Now that has taken the October 5th, 2018, which some people previously suspected was going to be the Batman
That's
date.
right. I was one thinking that was gonna be Batman. Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that? Good news, bad news, don't care?
Release dates to me, especially when they haven't even started filming, it's just a chessboard, and studios got to move, and to move away from Mission Impossible 6 is a very good.
It just makes
Move.
sense.
I think that it
It's a
opens
very
up
good move.
the conversation that you wanted to have, though, just about scheduling in general, because if we're pushing that off, what does it mean for the rest of our
so
films?
here's where it gets interesting. Flash, the film that does not currently have a director, was previously supposed to be the first film after Justice League Part 1, occupying a February or March?
March.
Release date?
Yeah.
Okay, March. Which means that if they start shooting Flash like next week, that's 14 months away. Which I think you all agree is like not a lot of time for a big effects heavy film.
Especially when we still don't have a director.
Still doesn't have a director. So, first question, is there any chance in hell that The Flash is keeping that March release date?
I say absolutely zero.
Zero.
Absolutely zero.
It depends if WB has a movie they can move into it,
Okay.
because they're not just going to give the day away. They're going to
Okay.
move. They've got
That's
to
an
move
interesting
something.
point of
They've
view.
got
Well,
to
do you
move
think
something.
that there's any chance that the Batman movie would go there
No,
instead because
no.
it would take too long to film?
They don't even have the script ready. I think the Flash has its script.
Yeah, that's the thing is, people
but
were saying,
but-
Batman's going to go there, unless it's like Loquasto would like to say, the biggest swerve.
I don't see
which
that happening.
I don't think it really exists.
Batman has
today.
its team, though.
What's that?
Batman has its team.
But so does Flash.
No, Flash doesn't have
aside
its
from
team.
director. Flash has everything.
That's a huge deal.
So, okay,
to
so
not
there
have a
is the
director.
possibility that they haven't started production on Flash yet. I was just going
I
to say
look
that
at
maybe
this.
they
I look
started
at
the set
this.
pieces
I look at-
and they're going to plug everything in
I
later,
look
but
at the
that's
Flash
ludicrous.
like an Ant-Man situation. They've got everything going. They've been going. The director and Marvel were fighting forever. He leaves. Another director steps in and just goes. I think this
Yeah.
Flash has been going for a while. I mean,
So there was,
I think it's an
yeah.
Ant-Man situation where if they get the right director that can work with the studio, I think they're going to be okay.
I think it's a.
They're not doing that.
What'd you say?
What's up?
You've got to hope they're not doing that whole Ant-Man thing, because that was a flaw. As much as Zach L loves Ant-Man,
I loved Ant-Man.
That movie
That was great.
that movie was super flawed, specifically because you had two creative teams trying to. You had one creative team with not enough time to redo what had been done already,
Right.
Okay.
and you don't want to hamstring Flash like that. You want to let the team
You also-
work through all the problems.
Sure.
You also, and I know for the DC Movie News drinking game, I'm going to mention Marvel, so you're going to take a shot. DC's not in the same place Marvel was
No.
at that point, where you
You're
can
right.
kind of get away.
You're right.
With a little this,
Plug
I mean,
and
like
play.
Flash has got to be, it's got to be good. Like you don't have the goodwill and the people saying like, oh,
I'll
we're
say
already
this.
invested in the universe.
Thinking this brings up a good point. None of these films are as tied together as a Marvel universe. You know, we're not looking for Flash to build to something. So if it's like Aquaman
That's not true.
standalone,
We've got Justice League.
but that we don't know that has anything to do with what's going on in the Flash film.
They're completely tied together, though. We're
How
using
so?
because we're taking the same characters and then we're putting them together as
Right,
as
and
a league.
and Justice League
and
is-
potentially Justice League 2.
Right,
Listen,
but you just
no.
me right.
No, because Justice League 2 is not a direct sequel. There is no.
Right.
So what happens in Justice
We
League?
don't know what it is.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
Justice League. What happens in that? The Flash is on his own in his movie.
No, he's not. He was Cyborg.
But it's still
yeah.
established in Justice League, so
Yeah.
that's groundwork done. Wonder
Yeah.
Woman is separate from what was going on.
Start again. What are you talking about?
The fact that they're not having to shoehorn Flash to reach an endpoint. Flash
I do think they need him to reach an endpoint.
in his solo film.
Yes.
What's the endpoint?
Well, he's
What,
got.
what are they building to? What is Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and
I
Flash
see what
building
he's saying.
to?
You might
It's not
say that
building
like
anything.
nothing at the end of Flash needs to dovetail into like the Justice League Part 2. Like
Right. So
what
it
you're
has
saying-
as much autonomy as potentially Ant-Man
I think
has.
And the way that BVS had to end in Batman and Wonder Woman creating the Justice League, you're
Yeah.
saying Flash doesn't have to do that.
I don't think Flash will do that.
Oh, well, of course it's not going to do that because we just did that with BVS.
Right.
But I do think that Flash is going to leave in a way that we still have Flash as a player on our team, and so that Flash can be used in other movies.
But it's
Of
going to be a
course.
standalone film.
You're just saying that if, for example, and I'm not saying that this is what it is, but if we're building to Darkseid War,
Right.
that Flash is not necessarily the next stepping stone in that. It's its own film with its
Right.
own plot, and I hope that that's true.
Just like an issue of the comic, where you could pick up an issue of the comic, and what's going on in Justice League is
Yeah.
not going on in the Flash comic. I think
Yeah.
that's what's going on.
What about how will that affect the Cyborg movie then? If
I think Cyborg's off the table.
Yeah, because it's again okay. So now we get into those 2019 release dates, and like if you still, because it seems likely that if there's going to be a Batman, can't happen before 2019 right now. Like right.
I wanted to, I really do,
but
I
how?
don't see it happening.
So
But when you
and
say
assume that would be a priority.
Okay, let's look at his films. He's got Justice League.
Whose films? Affleck?
Affleck's. Justice League. Then he's got to work on the Live by Night press and all that, and live that for a couple months.
Isn't he
What-
directing another one before Batman?
I don't think so. I think
I thought that there was another one. Guys, can you double check on that? I thought he had another one that he was doing with Universal, or was Live by Night with Universal?
Live by Night is
Warner
WB.
Brothers. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
no, I had heard he had another film that he's doing with Universal, and then potentially Batman after that.
Gosh,
so,
I'm
so Cyborg.
So what's on Affleck's list right now?
Yes.
He's got the Batman in pre-production.
Right.
He's got Live by Night, and then they just announced Witness for the Prosecution, which
Right.
is scheduled for 2018.
Right. So that's the
Okay.
film before Batman.
okay.
Unless,
But again, that's only pre-production as well.
barring huge swerve.
And that's
and as-
just as an actor you're talking about.
Right, right. What?
That's as a director.
That's as a director.
oh.
That's just as a director. That doesn't
Can you
even
click
count
on there and
things.
see what
He's
studio
just-
it is?
Which one?
Witness for the Protection. See what
I think
studio.
that might-
what is-
be the Universal
what
one.
is Thirst that he's working on?
That's
Sky
when they-
Patterson confirms Batman is coming out November 1st, 2019. Thank you, Sky Patterson. That is,
Who is Sky Patterson?
he's one of our
Chat.
very favorite
Oh,
chat row people.
And all right.
That's so sad you don't know who he is because he definitely knows who you are. He thinks you're real cute.
Well, hold on. I
Yeah.
probably know the look on the. I know people by the face on the Twitter handle.
While Mike is getting fawned over,
What?
Just an update for you guys.
Sky, are
so
you on Twitter?
Here's what's on the docket. And March 2018 is very full. So
Right.
if it would be like for WB or anyone to put anything in there, they're
is it?
entering a packed market. You've got an untitled Fox Marvel property coming
Right.
out at the beginning of the month. It's probably New Mutants, but it hasn't been announced. Wreck-It Ralph 2 comes out on March 9th.
Right.
Then you have Tomb Raider
Tomb
coming
Raider,
out
that's
on
the
the
one.
Big one.
16th.
That's the one that was competing directly with Flash
Okay,
at this
okay.
current moment that I was trying to think of before the show.
Yeah. The week after that's like Robin Hood Origins is the biggest thing.
Oh, boy.
So that week's like a little light, but then you have Ready Player One from Spielberg
When is
coming
that?
out on March 30th. Ready Player One is the adaptation of the
yes,
VR
yes,
based
Oh, I
novel.
know. That's actually a book I read. It's really good. So Zach L, do you agree with me? Like, do you think there's no way that Flash is going to keep its original date now that it's especially competing with Tomb Raider?
No, it would. If they did, it would be a good movie, and like not anything about like whether the people are talented or not. That's just too
It would just
short
be
of a
rushed.
timetable. Either they would have to. It's too hot. Flash is an effects heavy superhero. I would actually say if it was, I think the Batman has a better shot because you can do a lot with Batman that can be practical effects.
Right, but if
Yeah.
it wasn't for Affleck, maybe it would have a better shot, but it seems like he is
Yeah.
dragging his feet a lot. So I agree with you, Zach, but I'm not sure, listening to these guys talk, I'm not sure that we're going to get a Batman.
Oh,
in
I don't
time
think that
period.
Batman's going to go there. I just mean like
Yeah.
production-wise, you could pull it
So
off.
then
in
that means so then does
timetable.
WB lose that date, or
Yeah,
they just
I really think so.
or do they
But
put
isn't-
something
but
from the
isn't-
shelf there?
What,
No.
Isn't Tomb Raider WB?
Is it? No, I have no
Wouldn't have been
idea.
competing
The
with
original ones were Paramount. The Jolie ones were Paramount, but I thought that they got the rights to that. But come on, Tomb Raider doesn't hold a candle to Flash. Flash would destroy that in the box office.
Yeah, but it just doesn't make sense to open
You
two
don't want-
franchise
I
openers.
agree.
Paul Grant
It
said-
hurts for everybody. It's
I agree.
stupid for everybody. Okay, so Zack Snyder.
That is WB.
It is.
Yeah, I knew it was.
Strange.
Oh, so and when did they announce Tomb Raider definitely going in that day?
I don't know if they did, but that
was the
covers
Flash
it now.
Day?
This is all according to Movie Insider. So, dog your
So I think let's go on that. We'll leave that.
They are
hypothetical,
insiders.
but I think
If they're inside.
they'll put Tomb Raider there, and because they're ready to go. Tomb Raider's ready to film.
Oh, Tomb Raider's happening. That's nothing slowing that train
So
down.
yeah, put that at the March one.
All right, so Flash is up
I
in
would
the air.
rather, and as much
So
as
do you think Aquaman is going to be the next? Okay, then the final question is Aquaman the film to be after Justice League? So you have November, and then so that would mean that you have a film in November of 2017, and then no other DC film until October of 2018. That's almost a year.
But I'd rather maybe WB's going. You know what, guys? We rushed this. We
I'm
need
with
to slow
you.
down. We need to
I'm
slow
with you.
down.
Slow the
Don't
train
you think
down,
maybe
but
we
that's
could
crazy.
Don't you think they could pick a summer date?
For Aquaman.
No, Aquaman's
not
already
for
got it
Aquaman,
saved.
for Flash.
Oh, for Flash.
Oh,
so yeah,
in
that
that-
was another thing that some people were suggesting, that Flash will move to spring or summer. I saw some people saying maybe April, maybe spring. I agree, that is a strong likelihood, but those dates got to be at a premium too.
Oh, they've got to be. For me, is the interesting question is why is WB, with the whole Batman Affleck, that movie will get made and it'll make $1 billion. There's no doubt about that.
And it's going to be freaking great.
They need to focus
Is that
on
the
getting
actual
that
number we're guessing?
bajillion. I'll say that.
Bajillion.
They really need to. I don't know what's going on.
And talk about separate from Justice League and everything. I want a movie
Yeah.
that is its own movie.
Yeah, the Flash. They need to. I don't know what's behind the scenes happening. They need to get a director on this damn thing. They need to focus on that. Let Affleck worry about his script. He'll get out there. Let Manganiello talk dates he wants. That film will go and it'll be great.
What do you guys think about Man of Steel 2? A lot of people in the chat are saying Man of Steel 2 ready to go. We're ready to go.
And Amy Adams says they're working on a script. So
I would not.
But again,
want,
we talk
I don't want
effects
that
heavy.
to happen.
That's
Where?
even more so than a
Where?
Flash film.
It takes Zack Snyder like 2.5 years every time he starts one of these films,
Yeah.
right? It took like 2.5 years to make BVS. It took like 2.5 years to make Man of Steel.
Man of Steel 2 was not a Zack Snyder project?
J.J. Abrams.
A co-production.
It won't happen,
but again, it would already have to be announced. I'm just saying the schedule is really interesting, and I'm much more interested in getting good movies than them sticking to their schedule.
I don't. Yeah.
But
Same.
look for schedule announcements, and that's why. And this goes back to that Heroic Hollywood article, which is like it's a little weird that the actors are more outspoken about these films than anybody from the studio.
Yeah.
Even Jeff Johns hasn't been trotted out to be our mouthpiece yet. Nobody has.
We're hearing things from like Ezra Miller.
And I think the only reason they are the ones that are because they all are in movies right now and they're all doing press tours. So they can't sit there and go, nope, can't talk. They want to be engaged into the fans. So like, guys,
you are 100% right. Mike
that's who's out
Kalinowski,
there.
they're there, and then they always finish those talks with like, "Hey, tell us about this other little nugget."
And it's just
thing.
like,
Killer
guys,
Kalinowski.
I can't talk about it.
He's the killer.
Yeah, I know you got to ask it. We're sitting here. We're filming soon. They're not. Jeff Johns doesn't have a movie that he's got going on where they could ask him.
I want like a very limited amount of great use of Superman and Justice League, but then I need the promise of Man of Steel 2, like coming. Like I'm telling you, I go back. I want that like Star Trek 3. Like he's coming. He's just a Deus Ex Machina kind of character.
Yeah.
And then it's at the end because it's clearly not his film, but he's
No.
gonna come back in that film.
Yeah.
Kathy says Roxy's always putting down Man of Steel. Yeah, I didn't like it.
I'm of everyone. I'm the most
logic.
outspoken about the love of BVS, but I have faith that we're going to get the Superman that everyone wants.
Well,
I really think we
Alright.
will.
Okay,
Let's move
so
on.
moving on. Zack Snyder, once again, is in the Star Wars mood. If you remember, before The Force Awakens, they were doing a lot of back and forth between
loves
J.J.
Star Wars, that
Abrams
guy.
and
Yeah.
like putting the Batmobile underneath like the Millennium Falcon and things like
And
that.
the tweets back and
so
forth.
he threw up this one picture of Batman using like the Kryptonite spear, but it was like a double-headed Darth Maul
Little
style
Sith saber.
lightsaber.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. And then if Zach L can make it happen, we're gonna watch the actual BVS trailer mashup Vader Star Wars thing.
Awesome.
Which is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
He spent some time on this thing. Whoever he got to do this for him.
Yeah.
It's
Just
an-
like
it's
some
an-
intern happy to be working for
But
him,
like
right?
those stormtroopers and stuff, I was like, okay, that's.
I was thinking about that too, like finding all of the quotes, even just finding all of the words. That's got to be tough.
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go, guys. Here's Zack Snyder's latest opus,
The opus.
BVS.
Opus.
He doesn't throw a Lucasfilm LTD thing up here, which I
No.
think he should have
I
done.
think he'd get in trouble for that.
Don't you think Lucas would be like, ah?
Yeah, no.
Great disturbance in the force.
You're like, what?
Is that your emperor?
I kind of just have one Star Wars voice.
And it's just a generic, covers them all.
Yeah.
Strong.
Can you do Yoda?
Strong. Yeah. But my Yoda sounds like Stitch.
Let me hear it.
This is a dangerous time.
I'm telling you, this makes me almost want to see B and S versus E and D.
I do not. There is no try.
That is
Like Stitch.
that is not a good Yoda.
There's no try.
X-Wings flying behind Superman.
See, that's why I stick with the chair.
Wookiees. Oh, and what does it say? No more Jedi?
Fallen Jedi. Or false Jedi.
False prophet.
This is cool.
False god.
Yeah, his face just staring the darkness.
Forever.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Consume you it will.
Consume you it will. Consume you it will. No, it gets worse and worse.
Oh, there it is. There's the Sith Saber. Oh.
Hey, they spent some time or money on this thing.
Yeah,
I know.
I love that.
Tell me, do you embrace the dark side?
Ah!
You will.
Oh my god.
Ready?
So wait, was that Kal-El with the kryptonite saber?
Wait for
With the
it.
green saber.
Wait
Wait
for
for
it.
it. Wait.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Exactly.
Nailed it!
So good. You know, that's the first time I actually watched the whole thing of that. That was so much fun.
Jewish grandmother. Grandfather.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I find
it a little disturbing. All right, but cool.
I like things like that. What?
What?
What was he saying?
What was that, Zach L?
Tack, voice of God.
Do you guys think Batman would be on the dark side?
Batman be on the dark side.
He would. I would think he would think he could control it if he went to find out about it. But I think it might overtake him. He's got a little bit of dark heart.
gotta
But
tell
he
you,
always pulls through in the end. He
The
always does.
BVS one might be. I think BVS was Batman on the dark side,
And his
trying to use that
redemption coming to the
right.
Force.
He was like, "No, I can handle this Sith power."
Yeah.
And then, like in Justice League, he's like, "You know what? I'm going green."
I got to go back to the side.
Yeah,
I got to go back to the light side.
Yeah, yeah. I think this
And-
was
and
him embracing his dark side.
Superman
Absolutely.
brings him back.
So that's fun. Also fun is sometimes people on the Twitter do things. So Army Hammer
This whole
was having a
shabacle.
little bit of
My
fun with
God.
Joe Manganiello. So Joe Manganiello congratulates Army Hammer, and it's mysterious. And so
Well,
the
because
Twitter
it started before that when Army Hammer started tweeting saying, "So excited to announce that I will be playing my new guitar that I haven't picked up since whatever it was,"
Okay.
and like tweeted out many things like minutes apart, and people were freaking out. And then he tweeted at Joe saying, "So great to see you, my man," or whatever. And Joe tweeted back being like, "Yeah, congrats again. Can't wait to see you soon," or some crap like that. And people are like, "Oh my God, he's Harvey, he's Dick, he's what?" Like people are throwing
He's
everything
Hal Jordan.
out. Yeah, like.
I think it's just two guys having fun with the internet.
So you think no smoke, no fire?
I don't think it's anything.
Nothing.
What has Army Hammer been up to?
I mean, this is a guy who was supposed to be Batman.
He was. He was supposed to be, and
He was
Justice League
cast.
Immortal and Batman.
And now?
And he did Lone Ranger.
I mean, this
He
is
was
a guy
great.
who needs a hit.
He was
who's a really good actor.
Great in Man from Uncle. Great in Man from Uncle.
Yeah, which was really kind of underrated and underappreciated.
But that said,
Oh, I
he
didn't
would
see Nocturnal
tower-
Animals.
He would
Did you guys
tower
see that?
over
Is he in that?
Affleck.
I guess so.
I
I
wanna
didn't
see
know
that.
that.
Not tower over Affleck, but he would stand a little tall next to Affleck because he's 6'4", 6'5", this Army Hammer guy. He's
This Army Hammer
So
guy.
what
Talk about my
about-
Jewish grandmother.
Army Hammer, this Army fella.
This-
What about
Army guy.
Captain Shazam?
That I could see. He make a better
Wow,
Captain.
you think
He'd make a
that
better
would be what
Shazam.
it is?
I mean, I'm just looking at his type. Is he'd be a good Shazam.
He'd be a
I
great
think.
Shazam.
I mean, what you got?
I
Shazam,
don't see him as Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. I gotta say,
But it was-
I really and you still think like
Well, he
okay.
kind of looks like Ryan Reynolds.
Who do you think is the first Green Lantern we're going to be introduced to, assuming that we get
Hal.
something?
Oh, the first one?
Yeah, assuming in Justice League, you think it's Hal?
Abin Sur.
Abin Sur?
We're gonna get an Abin Sur
Okay.
coming to Earth,
Or something like that.
showing that opening the world of the Guardians to Earthlings.
And you think This is our real big bet. Is you think they're going to go with just Hal, no Jon Stewart, or do you think Jon Stewart's going to be in
there'll
the
be
film?
multiple ones in
Okay.
there.
Well, they already announced that.
I think it's got to be guaranteed that Jon Stewart's in this film one way or another.
It brings color to it.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yes.
It's a smart move. It brings an entire demographic to the movie. Absolutely.
Somebody is...
But I love. There was talk this week. Jamie Dornan of 50 Shades of Grey as Lantern.
We talked about it last
Right,
week.
but didn't Jeff Johns
I
kill
think
that?
he'd be great.
Didn't somebody kill that?
Johns killed it.
So Johns
He
retweeted Umberto, right?
Yeah. Umberto, who was tweeting at the account that tweeted it.
But it's funny. It's so funny with people, saying absolutely not, because when they were denying that rumor, people threw up on Umberto's page, hey, dude, you claimed that Jim Parrick was Deathstroke in Suicide Squad. Like, he had a tweet, absolutely, Jim Parrick is Deathstroke, and it's not. So it's like, as much as these people that are Hollywood insiders try to claim it, the people, WB casting, that's the people who knows who's being cast.
Yeah.
Mike,
That's
how
who
tall
does
are
it.
you?
I'm 6 feet.
He's 6 feet. The chat
Okay.
wanted to know. I think they're trying to
okay.
cast you.
So yeah, so
6 feet
Affleck
tall.
is huge too.
They're trying to cast
Affleck
you
is
in something.
6'4" as well. So I don't
Yeah.
know how big Army Hammer is.
You know, it's so crazy how I have no sense of that. Like, to me, you guys are 7 feet tall, both of you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
because
I
you're
just
so
look-
far down on the
What are you,
ground.
6'1", 6'2", Adam?
I'm 6'2"
Yeah.
with the hair. When the hair is working as it fully is, I'm definitely
6 feet tall, 6'5" with the afro. Anyone know that movie reference? Anyone in the chat? If you get-
Clueless?
What was it?
6 feet tall, 6'5" with the afro. It's a sports announcer. Anyone?
Is it
Please
the
tell me.
basketball movie with Will Ferrell?
With Tom Cruise. No.
No.
It's, wait, what's the name of that movie where he?
anyone
Jerry
checking?
Maguire is what I was gonna say.
No.
What is it?
Here he comes onto the field. So-and-so, 6'5", 6'10" with the afro. I don't know the exact heights.
God,
but
you're still in the Schmoedown. I have no idea. You're just a trivia mad
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if anyone in the chat's getting it, but no one's getting it. I'm not gonna. I'll hold off. We'll
What
see
is
if you
it?
guys get
Any
it.
given Sunday? Do you want me to just name sports movies?
not-
Well, let's continue and see if anyone
Okay.
pops
Remember
up.
the
with it.
Titans?
No!
Can I ask
Hugh-
you guys a question about Green
What
Lantern?
is Fletch?
Hugh Highland Fletch. You, sir.
He probably Googled
What do you
it.
get?
He Googled it.
What was the answer?
Fletch.
I
Chevy
guess.
Chase, he comes out. He's like, here he comes.
Zach L, go ahead.
6'5", 6'10" with the afro.
I want to know, like, because everyone's talking about, like, which Green Lantern would you want to see?
Yeah.
Jon Stewart, you're right, in the comic book form, he would bring a much needed color to the league. Could you just cast somebody of a different race as Hal Jordan? Because there's nothing about that character that needs to be.
Yeah, there's two different.
a Ryan
And currently
Reynolds type.
in the rebirth, there's two different ethnicities that are featured.
But there's Simon Baz and
yeah.
Jessica Cruz.
So
Yeah.
why make them Hal Jordan just because
No,
of the name
that's
recognition?
to me is
Well,
that's
that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like Hal Jordan is the people one that I think most people are familiar with.
Right, I
It's
see
like,
what you're saying.
Do you do Hal Jordan and just you can cast whoever in that role?
Yeah.
Or do you try to differentiate from the Ryan Reynolds movie by by skipping Abin and just bringing in a completely different Lantern?
If that's the case, they go Jon Stewart and just disregard
Yeah.
Hal Jordan. But to just put whether a black guy, Hispanic guy as Hal Jordan, because that's almost a disservice to those characters.
I mean, and you already have Jon Stewart, who is so well established in the animated film. You have Harley Quinn, that's never been more popular, established in the animated universe.
Good point.
So they have a good track record for characters, and that's not to say that Jon Stewart his origin was not in the animated film, but how we know Jon Stewart and his actual persona is from the Justice League animated show, which is wild.
That you bring that up. I read this article. It was all about changes that have happened over the comics that have stuck, and Harley Quinn was one, and Jon Stewart was the other, because before that he was just an architect. He was really kind of a bland
Very
character.
bland. He was like a fill-in. Yeah,
that whole military aspect was the animated series, and I think that's what they'll go with.
Yeah, somebody just pointed out they cast an African-American Jimmy Olsen on Supergirl. They also needlessly assassinated Jimmy Olsen in the movie universe.
Yeah.
Because they could.
Remember
because
when he was
thought
on
it'd be
screen
funny.
for 2 minutes?
Yeah, he thought it'd be funny.
But the Jimmy Olsen, Olsen on Supergirl, there was no other reporter character that was African American that they could have brought on. It was always Jimmy Olsen, Lois, and Superman.
Oh yeah, I have no problem with casting that guy as
to
Jimmy
me-
Olsen. Making him the Guardian, though, is another issue.
That's a stretch.
We'll talk about that
That's a
at a
stretch.
different time
Yeah,
in the
that's
show. That's something that the Berlantiverse loves.
But I would
to
rather,
do.
if they're not
You don't
gonna,
have a costume. What are you doing on this show?
But with the Hal bit, and
We'll get
to
you a
what you said,
costume.
Zach, I would rather them not cast a different ethnicity just to be Hal. I would rather bring that other character, because now we've got the Latin Jessica Cruz, I believe he's Arabic. Is it Simon Baz is Arabic?
Yes.
Or Jon Stewart. So you've got that's 3 different ethnicities
I
right
want to
there
talk about
just
Jai
bring
Courtney's
in.
Wang.
Okay, so Jai Courtney ran around the set with his wang out.
And we have an image.
Wait, what's the? He's
Hang out with
rocking
your
out,
wang
rocking.
Rock out with your cock out.
I was gonna say it. Do you ever rock out with your cock out?
You stuttered.
Do you rock out with your
Guys,
cock
that
out?
is
I don't have a
unacceptable.
cock.
Listen,
I
first of
do.
all, stop saying.
I mean, I do
Stop
have
saying
one, but I
the
don't.
C word on this show because you've just removed our PG-13 rating. If you want to say something, you have to rhyme boomerang with wang or boomerang with his man thang or something like that.
Zach, go
to make it work.
The Batman
He's
news
gonna flick out with his
link.
stick out.
Okay.
That rhymed,
But
and I
that
didn't
doesn't
use it.
really sound like.
Flick out with your stick out. What's
Yeah.
flick out mean?
You know what?
He's
No.
flicking it out. I'm flicking and sticking.
So, yeah, it was a funny story when Jai Courtney was on Conan O'Brien. He was talking
He
about
whipped
how.
his wang out on Conan.
No.
No, he was on Conan and he was talking about how
Oh, there it
David
is. Oh.
Ayer came and visited his
So this is-
trailer,
this is
and he
great.
was naked in the trailer, and then he just started chasing him, and then what was it? Jay
Well, he said
Hernandez, who
that-
plays Diablo,
Yes.
was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, chase him, go for it, good for it." So I mean, that sounds like they had an amazing time
No,
on
he
the
was
set of
he was
Suicide
like
Squad.
sick him, sick him,
Sick
go
'em
get
like a
sick
dog.
'em,
Yeah.
go
Sick
get
'em.
Yeah,
And
sick
there
'em.
he is chasing David Ayer with his dong out.
Yeah,
You
and
guys
so
want to show this to the audience?
Yeah, do you have
Yeah.
All right, here
You
we
have
go.
the whole video,
Guys,
no,
we have
it's a,
so
it's a
much.
photo. So somebody on set,
No,
one
no,
of
I
his
think
cast members.
Zach Ellis is saying that he's going to get the video too.
I was just showing the photo.
No,
Oh,
just
okay.
the video
I
is
wanna
not a
see
video of this.
Dong.
It's a video of him on Conan.
Oh,
This is just a photo that one of his cast members took and gave to Conan, and they wouldn't say on air which one, but they told him they would tell him afterwards, so that because he claims he has a lot of dirt on all of the cast members, and he's ready to share too. So I have a
Okay.
feeling
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna get a
great.
little battle that
So
goes back
anyone
and forth.
listening to this, if you have video of Jai Courtney naked, it might be from Spartacus. Just put that out there, tweet that out, and
Yeah.
you can get an idea with this. Yeah, I still have not watched the extended cut of Suicide Squad because I'm waiting for the hard copy.
Me too.
Adam Gertler previously had some harsh things to say about Suicide Squad, not sitting great with me, so I just want to give it time and watch its extended cut. And I also want to say, like, somebody pointed out on Twitter, they're like, oh, people's expectations are, like, so high now. If it's not great, it's either great or shit. And you know what? Whoever said that, you're absolutely right, and I am guilty of that. But I also think it's just because the bar has been set so high that I'm not going to get excited about just okay. And I'm not going to pretend I'm just excited about just okay. Like, I want to see great stuff. The bar is high.
That was my problem with Bleed for this, is that I was too negative on it because it's either, in my eyes, it's either amazing or it's crap. And that was a good movie. And some movies can just be good movies and not great, but it's like I feel like I just don't have time for things that are just good.
Yes.
I was just agreeing with you. I didn't mean to shut
Interesting.
you up.
No. I was thinking. I'm just taking that in. I saw Hell or High Water this week. I thought that was a pretty great movie.
I didn't see
But it's
it.
not like it's just like one of those slow.
Yeah, it's a slow
character.
burn.
It's
Yeah.
around Texas. You're watching Jeff Bridges. I think it's like the best thing Chris Pine's ever done that I've seen.
Because it's
Like-
they're tentpole franchise films. It's,
Yeah.
we expect
This Means War?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
And like this was
Time was
this
so
was the
good.
third film
mouth.
out of the gate, and it needs to be great. So I just want it to be good. I wanted the movie to be as good as I think the cast is, as good as I think the director is, and I still think it was a situation
the
of too
film-
many cooks.
I think the film, once the BVS reaction came out, was in trouble.
Because you think they
Meddled
tinkered with
and
it
came
too
to the
much.
set, and we heard all the stories about the
Yeah.
rumors and the reshoots. I
Yeah.
think if Ayer would have just,
Yeah.
if this movie came out before BVS, I think we would have seen a different film.
I don't agree with you. I don't disagree with you.
I think
do agree with you.
because watching that film, I think what gets me upset
yeah.
is there's a great film in there. You see the kernels, and the first hour of the film, especially for me, is
Yeah.
very enjoyable. It's that last 30 minutes.
Yeah,
where I'm
once
just
it
kinda
gets
like,
into plot and you're like, this is not a good plot. Their mission is a silly mission, and the again, it's
but again,
been
the
said,
cast is so well, so we
the
established that
Enchantress.
cast.
Oof, that
Oh,
Enchantress.
that Enchantress
And I know
dance.
Marvel
Stop.
hasn't always had the best villains either, but that was really bad. And to me, the
can't
worst
stop
thing
the
about
dance.
it was like
stop.
the brilliant Amanda Waller, so devious, but she's like, yeah, this woman's dangerous, but I'll leave her about
Did you
because
watch the Honest
he's gonna
trailer?
fall in love
Did you
with
watch
her.
the Honest trailer?
I want to. I haven't seen it yet. Is it great?
It's like Like,
Jack, can we watch the honest trailer?
You know who does honest
June
trailers?
Moon.
Do you know
watch
who
it.
does honest trailers?
Yeah.
Screen Junkies?
Yeah.
Oh, Zach,
I do.
if we
But
could
it's
do
like-
that would be so
it's
much
like-
fun.
That's my company, though.
June Moon, world's worst archaeologist. Oh, what's this Valley of Advice? Break. It's like,
Ah!
come
Hey,
on.
okay.
Okay, so
Anyway.
Michael Bay, who just put out a trailer for his newest opus, the Transformers to the Fifth Power,
You're
which
like an opus today.
looks amazing. Amazing,
Amazingly something.
amazingly
It's something.
So
It's
he's
a
not going to be
Transformer
joining
film.
us anytime soon in DC land, and I'm
What
going to tell
say
you
you,
why.
Roxy Striar, crown jewel of DC movie news?
This is his quote. I wouldn't want to. It's not my thing. It's just not my gig. I don't ever want to take someone like a third or something or second of something. I got to do my own thing because the most fun is when a real director creates the world. You know, you talk to Ridley Scott, one of our favorite things to do is create the world. Steven Spielberg, create the world. That is what it's about. If I were to do something, I would have to redo it my way. So he's not down with the DCU joining us, or Marvel. For that
I
matter.
have a point of to address to that.
Okay.
I think he just did that with Transformers. He
Established
took
his own world?
No, he took something that had been done 2 or 3 times before with comic books, cartoons, and to tons of animated films, and made his own version of it.
But
I
he
think,
created the visual language for those films.
so why couldn't he do that with it? He doesn't want to be part of the DC that's going and a Marvel that's going.
Exactly.
But if DC didn't do what they're doing, Nolan came in, Nolan created his world of his.
I think he was
Nolan
just
films.
talking about now. At
The
this
current.
point,
Hey, do you want to go
yes.
part of DC or Marvel
Yeah,
right now?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think.
And
with
I
that,
agree with that.
Yeah, it was like okay. Basically, what he's saying is, if he was the Zack Snyder,
Okay.
then he'd be down with it.
Yeah.
Neither of any of this sounds great. By the way, I'm very happy that none of this has happened. But but I mean,
He
but
makes-
again, I don't know. His films also, like Zack Snyder,
But if you
they
look
have
at
a very specific
if you
look
look
to
at like
them.
The Rock and Bad Boys, it's like those are great movies.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So it's just like
Bad Boys 2, the soundtrack.
No.
Let's go.
No.
What up, girl? What your name is? Turn around. Where you from? Who
Yeah.
you came with?
What?
Bet your ass.
what?
yeah, totally. No, I have no idea.
Anyway, want to move on from Michael Bay?
All right.
Yes, so Forbes magazine, which for some reason always has opinion pieces about DC
What is
movies.
with Forbes? Everything.
Forbes really tries to stick their head
Aren't they
in.
like a financial magazine?
I think it's
I
probably
don't
this
know.
one guy who's like a big nerd that gets to write at
Well,
Forbes,
this
and
guy's
he's like
name is
pitches
Scott
this.
Mendelsohn.
That's the guy
Yeah,
that
I think
always,
it's the same guy.
It's the same guy.
He's like
And-
every week he's pitching. He's like, hey guys, this DC article.
Hey guys, I
wanna
got this
read-
article that I want to talk about. Let's talk about DC.
If you want to read this article, it's titled "Why Justice League Should Be the Last Sequel in the DC Films Universe," and he goes on to talk about why Justice League is why DC is made much more for single films and there shouldn't be any sequels. His basic point is that Marvel is able to pump them out quicker, and because we're not pumping them out as quick, we better be doing them better. And it's harder to do better with sequels.
Well,
and he thinks that we should be
to
there are
address-
so many more characters, and he thinks we should be highlighting more characters as opposed to piggybacking on the characters that we've already highlighted.
I
Okay.
was making fun of Mr. Mendelsohn at the top of this, but now hearing that, I agree because Marvel and to their wonderful films, it has become, and it's known in the industry, it is a cookie cutter. They have a way they do it. They bring the people
They're
in.
cranking. They're making
cranking them
3
out.
movies at a time
Whereas,
right now.
and Marvel is what they are today because they sold the rights to Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, these great films. DC
Yeah.
still has, Warner Bros. Has control of all the
Everything.
staples.
Here-
So there are so many films out there. Instead of doing Batman 2, 3, 4, branch out to do a Booster Gold, Blue Beetle team-up film. I kind of agree with that.
Here's the strongest quote in his article, probably.
with that.
The primary appeal of this cinematic universe are the iconic characters which exist within it, as opposed to any long-running story arcs. The DC films offerings are not going to be as regular/plentiful as the MCU offerings. With those facts and evidence, I would say the best thing the DC films franchise can do is forego its sequels entirely.
It's not a bad strategy. I see what they're saying. Like
Yeah,
Marvel,
I like
you
that.
know, I know you've got Flashpoint and Crisis and a couple of these stories.
Yeah.
But Marvel has a lot of these storylines that people are very familiar with from like the 90s
Yeah,
and
you're
early
right.
2000s. That they're just kind of taking those and throwing them up there, and it seems like it makes sense rather than like work on the new Batman trilogy. It's like let's get a solo Batman film, let's get him in Justice League, let's get him pairing up with someone else over here.
It just seemed, I mean,
Well, here, let me ask you guys a question on this.
Shoot,
'cause
please.
I think this is a fascinating point, and it does make sense
Yeah.
a lot for this. The main reason I think it makes sense, I think with Batman as the exception, most DC heroes have one iconic villain. Because I think what sequels and everything, what they rely on is finding a villain that really stands strong. And I connect each DC superhero with a villain that really is their like polar opposite, that like really plays against them, like Superman and Lex Luthor. And once you get into like the more deeper, like the ones that go beyond their main one, I think there's a bigger drop off.
Well, I also think that
what do you guys think?
Maybe just not deciding to have a sequel before you even have the first film.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really where we get into problems more. I see what you're saying, Zach, about the villain, and I don't disagree with you, but I also think we already announced movies, the second one and the third one, before we even have the first one. How do we even know if the story is going to call for that?
I think...
And then we cater to having that second one too much.
Batman will always be a cash cow, and there should always be some Batman film
in
being
development.
Worked in.
Yeah.
But like that goes back to what I said with the Flash film. That doesn't have to lead to anything. It could be a Flash standalone, or the Green, because it's called Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
See who in that film that the people love, and then do. You can do a story that's not even on Earth. That is your Star Wars right there, is the Green Lantern Corps.
Well, that's what I'm hoping they do. I would really like to see that.
This is actually very smart. This way they're not shoehorned into every... Because that's the problem you get to when you're doing films that are all building to a collective thing. Well, we got to shoe this scene in because it's got to tie to this film. If DC just does their standalone films, that could be their way to separate from Marvel. I mean, that's not a bad... I apologize now for making fun of that guy at the top of that article.
Well, he does write for Forbes. He knows what he's doing. Okay, so let's take a look at that Honest Movie trailer since it looks like it's queued up here.
It's fairly long. We can watch like the first minute or...
Yeah,
okay, we're just going to watch some of it. Long trailer here. Screen Junkies.
You're just trying to... Well, it's okay because we're talking about Screen Junkies, but you're trying to stall on TV time.
No, we're not. We're going right to it.
No, I want to
dive head into
suck the
TV
marrow out of TV time.
Batman and Superman.
I like marrow.
Comes a film about the worst
I do, on bread.
heroes ever. And that's from their actual trailer. Way to go, guys. You honest trailered yourself. Suicide Squad.
Worst.
Yes.
After the mixed reception to their last movie, Warner Brothers probably regret spending just 6 weeks on the script for this one.
Oh.
Now, they have 4 short months to
How awesome is
reshuffle
it
their
they were
executives,
Emmy-nominated this
juggle
year?
7 different cuts.
That is cool.
Reshoot the third act. Deliver on all the
For
Joker
these,
stuff they
specifically
already
for
did
honest
in the
trailers?
trailers, and manage a director who takes
Pretty
shots
cool.
at their biggest competition.
Emmys
Yeah.
branching out.
That didn't
It's
go
like
well.
there's some
That
kind
did
of...
not go over well.
What's the word?
What, we some kind of suicide squad?
Man, this thing is writing itself.
See, I did a good
Superman
Will
level
Smith
threats on the
impression
rise.
too.
Amanda Waller has a solution. She's bringing together a bunch of bad guys to save the world.
Yeah.
This girl can do some pretty incredible things.
It's like
From
dance.
the bad guys she brought together to save the world.
Do your worst, bitch.
They're high on attitude, but dangerously low on relevant skills. Like a man who's half crocodile, half racial stereotype.
Yeah.
Any other requests?
A guy who shoots fire. but
B.E.T. That was the worst part of the whole movie.
You should have said Animal Planet.
one chicken chomping exposition machine who blurts out whatever the plot needs him to.
We gotta cut her heart out!
Here comes Slipknot, the man who can climb anything.
Her
Yeah.
heart's out! We can end this!
A drunk guy with a boomerang. Some Steven Seagal looking ass rope dork.
All
A
right.
90-pound girl
Yeah,
with a bat.
Rope door.
We got it. Sorry.
A lady just kind of shows up and
Okay, so honest trailers are funny stuff.
Yeah,
they proved the point.
I
with
mean,
that
just so freaking awesome, though.
Yeah.
That's so cool that they're going into the digital space with Emmys, and I was
Yeah,
really
it's
proud of
cool.
those guys.
Okay, so that is the news for the movies. I think we have questions. We'll do a couple Twitter questions after our next.
TV.
It's
TV. Ready? I'll beatbox.
Roxy Striar's TV time. She thinks that the Flash is fine. DC movie news, it's time to talk. TV time!
Wow. How much did I just kick butt? That was really
That was really
good.
great. I was
killed
letting
it,
you do
Rox.
what you were doing.
Box every week.
Yeah, that's really good. I also I learned a new skill too. Have you learned this?
Yep.
What's that?
Done that one. Oh, it's like you're
girl.
making a low muffled sound, but it sounds high pitched at the same time. Your ear.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's really.
so it was really good. Okay, TV time. So we talked about the crossover last week, but the last part of it hadn't aired yet.
Yep.
The Legends part. I thought that the crossover was pretty strong, but I think that the Supergirl part wasn't part of the crossover. The Legends part and the Flash part were part of the crossover, and Arrow 100 was also not part. So it was like on a night, off a night, on a night, off a night.
I thought it was also interesting. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen this week's Arrow. That he talked about last week we were like, oh, it's like they're doing It's a Wonderful Life. Life, and then this week he's like, my favorite movie is A Wonderful Life. It's A Wonderful Life. Last week I watched it again. So I was like, if anybody missed it, just so y'all know, that's what we was doing with the 100th episode.
Also, Flash was the season finale, or the mid-season finale, was my favorite Flash episode this season. I thought it was so strong.
I agree.
Really, really good. I think that they're killing it. I love what they're doing right now with Julian's character, what they did with Alchemy. I just think that it's really strong. That whole Iris part, again, trying to be vague and not give too many spoilers. Also, loving Gotham. Did you guys check out what they're doing with Penguin?
Wait, was there
Riddler?
a new Gotham this week?
Yeah, Monday.
Oh, I may have missed it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Monday. And Lucifer, which I think...
The last thing I saw with Gotham, spoilers, is that, like, Riddler is, like, up on what Penguin kind of did to him, and he's, like, now going to set him up, and, like, they're...
How up on it?
Like, he knows, like, he's, like, going to plan on, like, he wants to destroy him. Like, the last thing
I think that was this week.
No. I saw this when I was still, like, in Long Island. Like, I have not seen...
Gonna destroy, like, goes to team up with other people to destroy him.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. All right, I got to catch up. But I agree with you. I like Gotham best of all the other ones this season. Flash was
maybe
good.
I was just late on my Gotham. Maybe I was a week late. And a week late on my Lucifer. Maybe I just didn't talk about him last week. I don't know why I'm thinking we didn't chat about
Were
them.
you here?
But yeah,
last week.
I've been here.
Oh yeah, you were here.
I've been here this whole dang time.
That's right.
I don't know who that was. But CW, no wonder they're doing crossovers because their ratings were real high.
Oh my gosh.
Really helped Legends, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It helped everyone.
And it's going to help Supergirl too because we're going to bring over fans. Although even though that wasn't part of the crossover.
I saw one report that was like very astutely saying like, the Dominators were not very dominating. Like the threat was not. I mean, which is true.
I thought they looked cool.
They did.
And there was a lot of them.
Yeah, they handled that real well.
Yeah, no, they looked really cool, but like not a big threat there. It was really just an excuse to get everybody kind of together and like Barry to tell everybody about Flashpoint and everything like this.
Mm-hmm. Something I'm so not excited about is that Powerless got its premiere date. I just couldn't be. I don't know how to phrase that nicer. I could not be less excited. In February on the 2nd, Powerless is coming out.
Chat roll. Who is excited about Powerless? You're always criticizing us when we get too negative and harsh. And sure, I hope it's like the new Office. Does anybody out there suspect that this is going to be good? Well, and maybe there's a reason.
I think they reshot the pilot, right?
That's usually a good sign, right?
It's got to be because that trailer was.
Yeah. It
was awful.
And Tunix is in this, right?
Yeah.
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 It's just
is Danny Pudi.
It just seems like something from maybe 10 years ago that would have been on TV.
You know, it seems like the kind of thing that unless you had a great take, and by that I mean showrunner, writer, mastermind that's like, guys, this is it. But now if you're telling me it's like back and forth, now they're just trying to salvage a property, reshooting the thing, it tells me that they don't have a take and this is going to be a train wreck. That's my prediction. And listen, I'll be the first person to say if I'm wrong. Actually, I won't be. I'm sure Twitter will let me know first. What about that Arrow 100?
Arrow 100 from last week?
I guess it was. Yeah. So there's mid-season finale.
Excuse me, mid-season finale. 100 fell in the middle of Invasion. You'd think it'd been the mid, but it just 101 episode.
But that was a big episode this week. Yeah. Both Flash and Arrow were big episodes this week.
Oh.
Did you not watch it last night?
No. I didn't watch Arrow.
I didn't watch it last night either. I know it's a big one, but I did not watch it.
Because I'm like, I can't believe you're not really talking about it.
No, don't tell us. We didn't see it.
Major spoilers.
Don't tell us.
Lots of stuff happens. Again, this is my constant thing. It's like, if they had fewer episodes, there'd be more episodes like you saw this week, which were both Christmas episodes. And as a Jew, I always like Christmas episodes.
I do too.
I don't know why.
I can't even help it.
Ragman's been representing for the Jews, though. They make at least one reference to him being Jewish a week.
That was a big thing in the comics. His background,
which is big because if you don't know, Jews were known when they came to this country for being in the schmata business. Schmatas are rags. That's like that was a big thing. So it was like, oh, he's in the schmata business. You're either in the jewelry business or the schmata business.
Some of the biggest creators of comic books in the 30s, 40s, 50s were Jewish.
What's that?
The biggest creators of comics were Jewish guys.
Yes, they were. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Including the creators of Superman.
Joel
Shuster and Siegel.
Shuster and Siegel.
Okay, so a great episode. I can't talk about it to you, but man, Ollie's not in a great place. Let's just put it that way.
I'm so bummed that I didn't watch it. The whole chat is talking about it right now.
I heard it's a huge one.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it next week.
Zach L. Isolate Kalinowski saying, I heard it's a huge one to be used later. Okay, moving on. We have you played any of the new Telltale stuff?
I will say this. I played episode 1, and I was on board, and I told everyone, I was like, I should have listened to you all. It's phenomenal. So I was going to buy them separately, because in the store, I like a disc. I like buying the disc.
Yeah.
But it was like $30.
Sure.
But if you buy the 5 episodes, it's $5, so it's $25. So I'm like, all right, I'll buy every episode. But Black Friday deal came out. It was $10 for the disc.
Oh!
So I got it. I spent $15. I have all 5 of them. But
you
only,
have all 5 of them
But
now.
only 3 are released.
Right.
You
so
get them when they come released.
Right.
No, 4 are released. Right?
Right. The
There's
one with the
more.
Joker was the last one that came out, and then there's a finale.
Comes out next week. The 13th.
I have not played the Joker one
I'm going
yet.
to play them all at once, but I played episode 1. They're phenomenal. It is. I can't wait for season 2 or chapter 2, whatever.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I thought you were going to say, I played 1 and then I fell off. They're fun. They're not like hard games.
It's different for me because I'm playing the old Return to Arkham games now.
Yeah.
And that's Arkham City. I forgot how damn.
That's
good
like a hard game.
Oh my
That's
God.
a good game.
But it's a button mash. The Telltale games are more interactive, choose your own adventure.
They're like TV shows made for millennials so that you won't fall asleep watching something that's longer than 12 minutes. You know, like, hey, you have to hit a button, right? It'll keep you going. But it's basically a well-told story. And it's like a really well-told story. Like, I want those people working on DCEU films and stuff. Like, it's a good story. It's very classic. Okay, is that it? Do we have any? Oh, Twitter questions.
Yeah,
Let's talk some Twitter
we don't
stuff.
have that much time, so we can probably do a couple. But you had those. You had those that you wanted
I'll
to
pull them up
ask
for you guys right now. Let's see here.
for us.
For you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Let's see. I'm going to the Twitter chat roll.
Going to the Twitter.
Let's see.
At 4:20 right now is the current time in Los Angeles.
All right. Do you ever think we'll see? This comes from Marvel movie fan. All right.
Okay.
Do you ever think we'll
Stepping
see a
across the aisle.
DCEU film release head to head with a Marvel film?
Like same weekend?
I'm assuming so.
Well, we're gonna see very close to that when what is it when Justice League comes out just 2 weeks after Thor Ragnarok, I believe.
I think that one of them would back down from the exact same weekend.
Well,
I
we
mean,
saw that
same
with
month.
Batman, Superman, Civil War.
Right.
That was a
100% not on the same day.
Yeah.
It doesn't benefit anybody.
Unless, do you think if DC reaches the level of what we all want and like the level of Marvel's quality and the way that they are, if DC gets to that level, do you think DC would get ballsy and go, oh, you got a movie there, Marvel? All right, we're going to go against you now.
No,
I think
we've
Marvel would
waited
be
10
too smart.
years.
One of them would move.
One of them would move. I think the best case scenario is then like DC takes a slot that Marvel then moves off of. That's the best you're gonna get.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting, because Thor's coming out. I think like right at the beginning of November, and then Justice League 2 weeks after that.
I should say this. Bottom line is
that's crazy.
Every studio wants the other movie to do well. Like no one wants. You want to make as much money as you can for your film, and you want your other competition to make as much money. It's not. You know,
well, to up the ante, even just like
it's if you split films, and that's why films leave release dates all the time because they don't want to compete.
This
for
is
your
what we're
dollar.
saying. Rising tide raises all ships.
There you go.
Okay.
Here's another one. This is a good one from Miguel. Why do you think WB execs are afraid of using GL when Spidey was successfully rebooted?
Okay, my opinion on this is that A, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
One of the most recognizable IPs
in the world.
B, it's made 5 movies that have all made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't. So they made the third Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. It wasn't good. Still made. I think it made more money than the other ones.
It made the most of it. It made the most money that year of any film.
So they smartly switched tactics. They did Amazing Spider-Man, which I thought was a good restart. Amazing Spider-Man 2, which, like it or hate it, is going to be on FX Movie Download very soon.
You know that it's one of my favorite films.
I know you
and I know
love
Roxy
it.
loves it. And parts of that were good, but they still had the wherewithal to switch and go to Marvel. So I actually give Sony a ton of credit for not just going, well, like, hey, it's making money, keep it going.
Yeah.
They're looking down the pike.
I think the Sony hack that happened that year that crippled that studio is a factor in the fact that it got to Marvel.
Yeah, then as a comic book movie fan, I'm glad of it.
I think it's also Green Lantern was worse than Spider-Man was.
Oh, Green Lantern didn't do well.
Right, so Green Lantern didn't do well.
They're gun-shy about it.
And I think that DC tends to be more gun-shy in general, and Marvel's like, hey, we're kicking butt. People like Spider-Man as a character. He's even more well-known.
Right.
Green Lantern is more of an abstract concept, too, because it's harder to grasp what's exactly going on.
Right.
And there's so many
Like, you go into a Spider-Man film, you know what you're getting.
Yes.
You don't
much fewer iconic GL storylines, too, than Spider-Man
we know Spider-Man's girlfriend. We know his
the
backstory.
origin.
We know,
I know fans are going to fight me on that, but that's just a fact. There's a lot of known Spider-Man storylines since the 60s, and most people, even comic book fans, couldn't tell you a lot of Green Lantern, like Blackest Night. Like, there's not a lot of iconic stories that are huge, so it's hard. I actually thought there was a lot good in Green Lantern. I love the Ab and Sur stuff. Like,
when
that
they
part
were on
looked
Oa,
really good.
It was pretty good.
Oh, it was good. It just, it didn't know what it was.
Okay, I feel like we have time for one more.
Okay, great.
Right. You got one over there? I got one. Here's a good one. Most anticipated moment. It's from Pablo A. Perez. Most anticipated moment in a following DCU films, like a scene that you just want to say, like you're just like, yes.
Most anticipated moment in a following DC?
In an upcoming?
Yeah, what are we looking forward to? Like, what moment's going to happen?
I got one.
Oh, what is it?
Go.
Okay. Mine is, and I know it's going to be ruined in a trailer, so don't do it.
Probably will be.
It's the return of Superman to the Justice League. Like, I'm sorry, whatever. All things aside, when Superman shows up, when you've already established the Justice League, what could be more amazing than that? Please don't ruin it in the trailer. I'm just saying, one guy to next. Jeff Bukes, Ben, Ezra, anybody listening to me. And make it awesome, make it iconic. That's what I'm saying. What about you guys?
You got yours?
I have two.
Okay, what are they?
One that I will be in Justice League, I hope, is a Bruce Clark moment of them seeing each other, and going, oh my God, like realizing he's not dead.
Yeah.
He's here. That moment. But I am looking forward to, in a solo Batman film, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would love to see Batman and Robin done right. To finally see...
Okay, but that's not a moment. That's not an actual...
Yeah. That would be like a film.
Yes. We're talking about like a one...
Okay.
What's an image or a scene that you just like want to see? A reveal or a...
That's the Batman Superman, like shaking hands.
Yeah.
It's... You're back and shaking hands with at the end of beating Steppenwolf.
Yeah, we boys now.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see the Justice League be put together and see how they like coerce everybody into coming on.
That's not a moment though. That's the whole film.
That's a moment.
No,
though.
that's the whole film.
That's a series of moments.
That's a series of moments.
Is there one particular part that you're looking to see? Like the splash page of when they're all like when Aquaman flies in and they're all like
I guess
their tableau.
More so than the Flash getting Flash on because we saw it was going to be funny and whatever, and he comes pretty quickly. But Aquaman, because what are we doing in that place where Aquaman's there and they're like, I heard that a fish, whatever. But then mostly you guys know that I'm so excited for Wonder Woman,
right?
And I just can't wait to see the first moment on screen where she kicks frickin' butt. Like,
somebody in the
herself.
chat roll just said Batman kissing Wonder Woman.
Oh.
Jeff Dunn.
That could be a...
Jeff Dunn, he wants to see Batman lay a big smacker on Gal.
I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't
Would you ship that?
I hope so. I hope we get the two of them together.
Is that weird if you ship the two of them? Does it become shipping Wonder Man, and isn't that covered by a different IP? That's a Marvel character?
What? Oh. No.
You ship Wonder Man? Oh, you would ship Batwoman.
No,
You would ship...
I want them together. I think that's a great...
Listen, I'm not a millennial. I don't know how to ship things.
Yeah,
what did you say?
I think it's a great thing, the two of them together. I hope so.
It could even be like Wonder Bat.
Oh, God. See, that's why she's really a millennial. Wonder Bat.
I would love to see that
Wonder
happen.
Bat is sexy.
Yeah.
And it's also, I believe, the name of the Bat from The Natural with Robert Redford.
I think, wouldn't it be Brianna or Brianna? Bruce and Diana.
Bruce and Diana?
Have you seen the
Well,
meme?
Brianna is
we're
kinda
shipping
good.
their superheroes
Have you seen the meme that
Hey.
they've made where it's like Diana after she got knocked down by Doomsday and she gives him that smirk, but they've superimposed her on a bed and then it's Bruce going, well, here I am. It's awesome.
A lot of Wonder Bat.
Okay, guys, we'd like to
now.
hear what you have to say in the chat roll. Zach L., what were you going to say?
Oh, the moment I'm excited to see
Yes.
in Justice League, I really want to see Wonder Woman meet the Flash. Because that's such like a polar opposites of people getting together, and I love Wonder Woman. And the Flash TV shows made me fall in love with the character. And like, if it's anything like Grant Gustin's Flash, like the idea of him meeting someone that's like
Like
morose
her.
and like
Yeah.
burdened by like history as Wonder Woman will be
That's a good one.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I'm definitely also excited to see Iris and Barry interact and see how their chemistry is on screen.
Yeah, and then but that also makes me think like if Wonder Woman does really well, like there's got to be a Wonder Woman sequel. You know what I mean? Like despite what we
Not
just said
according
about
to Scott.
sequels, yeah, I don't know. But I do agree that not every single one is going to get it.
Right.
But I also think that it really just depends on how they do and what the demand is and how they're received.
All right, we
Because-
gotta go.
We gotta go.
Okay, guys, we gotta go very suddenly. It's been fun. I've enjoyed this show. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. People like me.
true.
Once you
You're
guys,
handsome.
that was a little
You're
Stuart Smalley.
well-spoken.
Oh, guys,
Batman.
if you like books, read Norm Macdonald's based on a true story, a memoir. It's hilarious. I've been listening to it the past couple of days. Very funny. Read by Norm. Mike Kalinowski, what do you got to say about yourself?
You guys can find me at Mike Kalinowski on Twitter. You can find me DC Movie News Character Corner, which we've been dropping lots of those. I'll be back. We're going to be coming back for the MacGyver AfterBuzz show. Head over to Collider. Check out my movie trivia Schmodown against Ashley V. Robinson.
Do you know when you're on again?
I don't know. They're gonna. I've got my hit list ready to go.
He is our
the
champion.
killer has his hit list down, and I'm waiting for my next victim.
Wow.
So check that out, guys.
I would,
That's where you can find
I
me.
would gladly step in the octagon with you. Roxy Striar.
Roxy Striar, you can find me at Roxy Striar over at Screen Junkies. I'm there on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. for TV Fights. Wednesdays, 1 p.m. for Flash and Friends. We're actually doing our final Flash and Friends this coming Wednesday because the show's going on hiatus, so then we wouldn't have
Yes, they
anything
do.
to talk about, though.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the final one this year. Not ever. We'll start again next year.
Jonny Loquasto cannot be here. You can find him at Jay Quasto. He had a very successful blood drive over the past weekend. And the new commissioner, Gordon, I believe, showed up and gave some blood.
Oh, yeah.
J.K. Simmons.
Which is amazing. So they're...
And he shook his hand and he said thanks.
Yeah, so expect J.K. Simmons to be on an upcoming episode of DC Movie News. I would almost
That's what I got
guarantee
from the
it.
story, too.
Yeah.
So check out Jay Quasto. He's always doing great things. I'm Adam Gertler. You can find me at Adam Gertler, cooking, making sausages for Doghouse restaurants, doing movies on FX Movie Download. We have The Equalizer coming up, Amazing Spider-Man 2,
Did
maybe
I
some
tell you I
more.
ate there for the first time?
At Doghouse?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
So good.
Did you have a dog or burger?
Dog.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Which
it was
one?
really good. Just a bratwurst.
Oh,
Just
okay.
yeah, it was
Did
really
Das
good. But
Brat?
Das Brat.
Das
That's
Brat?
right.
And I got onions on it and peppers, and it was
Okay.
delicious.
Oh, you built
and
your
that's it.
own.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course you did.
I did.
That's awesome. So go to doghouse.com if you
So
want to
good.
find out where there's one coming near you. We'll see you guys next time. We love you. Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.
I promise you, the dawn is coming.